But this is Paul London getting a little stiff with Triple H. And let's see.
The reason I'm pretty sure I will not be returning there anytime soon. If again, Hunter was always pretty glaringly, obviously jealous of certain individuals. I'm not saying he was jealous of me, but I could tell he was envious of Van Dam. He was extremely envious of Van Dam's success. He was envious of Van Dam's personality. He was envious of the way that everyone gravitated towards Rob because they liked being around Rob. He was very positive. And you know, the most glaring is that, you know, the work rate. Hunter's had the same matches his whole career. You know, and the way I've seen it, if a guy is so damn tough, why does he need a sledgehammer all the time?
Did you notice? Did you know Hunter to be Hunter to be jealous of RVD? It's the first I'm hearing of that.
Yeah. Though I'll never forget, man, when that clip when RVD said, "Man, he'd come in and fuck up my vibe, man."
His Zen. He was talking about JBL.
Yeah. The dude come in all loud and shit and fuck up my Zen, man.
Yeah.
I you know, Paul's always had stroke. You know, I don't know. There's too many people that are calling the shots, you know, that are saying, "Wow, I wish I was below me on the card."
He was envious that Rob was able to achieve a Zen so easily, so quickly.
Fucking, I've never seen Paul sweat nothing.
Okay.
I love them both to death, but I mean, I don't know.
How about Paul London? You know Paul London?
Yeah.
Okay.
Talented.
Mm-hmm. 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 Could he have rode with the Click, maybe? Maybe he
I don't know him that well, but
all right.
Well, he hung out at a couple of indie shows and shit. I've always gotten along with him. He ain't afraid. I mean, he'll he ain't nobody you got to carry home. That's for sure.
Right. Okay.
He can hang.
Okay. It's time for Florida Man or Jersey Guy.
I never talk work rate about anybody. So it's like, yeah, fuck. That ain't my bag. It ain't my bag.
Waltman, by the way, he didn't. He said he needs a little more to remember which one. He said there was one for almost every occasion. A Scott term, he means. He said, "Quote: What are you gonna do? Pay us less or make us work harder?"
That was what. If he'd always say that.
Who do I make the check out to? Vince McMahon or Titan Sports? I guess that was another one.
Another one of his was, I was looking for a job when I got this one.
Yeah, I don't remember. I'll find it. It's in the tapes.
Yeah.
But Paul said, Triple H said that the sale of the company is of no consequence to him as long as he gets to continue doing what he's doing in creative. He said he has the best job on the planet, and he just wants to do that forever. How can he not have an opinion on the sale of that company? He's in the family, for God's sakes.
Well, I don't think that, obviously, he probably doesn't feel he has a vote. I mean, if it went from 6 to 9, I'm pretty sure that, you know, they didn't rally around the flag and go, you know what we really need to do is prop this motherfucker up 33%.
Oh, he can't be having a good run of it. Oh my God, his wife leaves. Vince comes back. I don't envy his position. I envy his position in the job he's got, and he's great at what he does. But
I know that he loves it. I know that. I mean,
the job, yeah.
But he also loves the industry. He absolutely loves the industry, and you know, there's some people, man, that just absolutely love to make, like to make film. They're put on this earth to make film, and that's what he's there to.
Absolutely, and the
know.
passion is genuine with him, but the family dynamic.
Yeah, but I mean,
is probably stepping all over the. Steph left because Vince came.
When was the last time WWE storytelling had anything that could touch the emotion with the Sami Zayn situation?
I don't know.
I mean,
I'm not saying he's not succeeding. That's not
I
my point
know,
at all.
I know. I'm just saying. I don't know. I mean, if he's been given a chance, I think the first episode that we did, and Wesley says Hogan Savage. The last, when he first took over, and I just said he's got a blank canvas. I'm really looking forward to seeing what Paul paints.
Yes,
and he fucking, I think it's a work of art. He's done a very good job, and he's brought. I actually have watched that. The things that fuck me up are when you start switching shit and having Saturday pay-per-views and I it's just like fuck. I can't. This is the thing that fucks me up the most about pro wrestling, and always has. I love pro wrestling. Fucking sports is my life. Like, if it comes down to me watching sports entertainment or watching the fucking Final Four, I'm sorry. I'm going to watch real fucking sports, and I'm going to do it. Like, I used to, people be like, the numbers were down. I'm like, it's the fucking playoffs. It's this, it's that. Across town, fucking, the Lakers are playing, so-and-so, and it's, it's for the 10th spot. It's for the play-in. People, they live in that wrestling bubble.
Can't live by the numbers. You can't live by the podcast rankings or Nielsen ratings.
No. Now, we're at, what are we at right now, time-wise on this show?
An hour and 34 minutes.
And then we went live at 2:03. So
we did a half hour live, so
yeah. So yeah. we got 3 fucking hours to go.
To be who?
Hey, maybe it's just we're just not pushing the envelope.
We're pushing. I'm pushing your ass up the hill. But anyway, in conclusion, with this issue here, $9 billion valuation is too high, and realistically, I think that somewhere in the somewhere in that probably I don't know if it would be over 5, but I said 4 would probably be safe. 3, 4, because there are assets. You have a lot of assets there with that company, even if you don't use them all. There's a lot there that you can make some money with.
And even with the things that they have, they've had really good success with shows like Rivals and Legends, and that's all off their library. I mean, and those shows are very successful. So it's just like they're never going to run out of, unique fucking footage of, because they've got everything.
They have the magic formula. They have yesterday's product, they have today's product, and they'll have tomorrow's product. They've got merchandise out the yin yang, as you know full well from your quarterly checks, and they monetize that history. They own the history. I mean,
I will say the last quarterly was bad.
Took a dip in the ratings.
Hard.
Well, let's see what Cornette's check looked like. WWE DX ECW. Hey, are you still cuddled in your Rugrats blanket? WWE DX, let us know. Hey, Kev, I know you and Triple H are close. Does he get pissed at you when stuff like this happens?
What happens?
Is that in reference to? Oh, the LA Knight stuff happened.
No, he doesn't give a. No, we don't. We don't talk business. When he and I talk, we don't talk the business.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not like Paul calls me up and says, "Hey, want to run this by you."
No, but you know what might happen? This is just me going out on a limb. He may have a feeling about something, right? You know, it's something in the back of your mind about maybe a talent or what to do with somebody. And then he hears something. Like maybe he hears you. He runs into a YouTube short of you talking about a talent. And maybe he goes, see, God damn it, I knew it. I knew it. My boy Kev agrees.
Put the money in the bank.
Give it to Priest.
No, I actually said give it to Logan Paul.
You did, but you put over Priest as the one guy on that roster other than
and you know what? I
Brock.
watched him on Raw this week, and he shines. I just can't believe that they almost, like, he was going to cash in the Money in the Bank, and Finn came down and attacked Seth frickin' Rollins, and by the time, like, Finn got 5-6 blows in, and then Priest got up, and it was Seth got out of it, so he wasn't in a predicament to where he was hurt badly enough to where you would have cashed in the Money in the Bank.
Right.
So I thought it was a bad tease. It kind of it brought animosity to that crew. It was just, I don't know.
Find another way to do it, is what you're saying.
Yeah, it just wasn't. It was too early to try to get traction off of the newest
Money in the Bank winner. Yeah,
owner of the Money in the Bank situation. I think that should have simmered. You would have got just as much had he not been involved and stood up top with the Money in the Bank in his hand.
Right.
Or I would have had, but Finn worked with him the week before, so it's a hard call, but it's just like I think that needs to simmer a little bit, because you don't want you want it to be used when it's going to actually make sense.
Right. By the way, Steve Kaufman confirming that Triple H is a paying member of ClickThisTV.com. So I don't know if he's in the audience tonight, but I think he enjoys the Nash and Friends. He'd like to be on, by the way. Another question from the house. Our folks here watching live. You can do so if you go to ClickThisTV.com and join. You can watch our shows, ask questions. The big news this week. There was a lot of news this week, but something broke this week that you mentioned to me more than a week ago, which was Triple H not being on the board for TKO Group, leading to speculation as to why that might be and what it means for the company, but more specifically for Paul going forward. Do you think this is something he wanted? Because Vince is back now, and do you think he's just like, you know what? I'm getting the exit plan together, so I would not be offended at all if I'm not on the board.
And the times when we talk, it's like I just know that he wants he wants the merger just to be done. I think that's his number one thing. Like, let's just get this fucking thing over with. But he doesn't. It's not like he's sick of anything, or that he brings up anything like, well, if they do this, this, and this, it's never an ultimatum. It's just he does his job. Like I told him the other night after SummerSlam, I just sent him a text that I enjoyed the SummerSlam. He said thanks, but I just I don't know. His oldest daughter is getting ready to start her senior year, and she's going to be going off to school. And I know that Stephanie's been she's always been a great mom. I remember when they made the towns in a bus, and Aurora was the top drawer pulled out, and that was where Aurora's little like crib was in their trailer. So I mean they've but I think that the pandemic and everything else, I think that you know Stephanie got away from it, and they especially they get away up at the lake, and life gets you take a breath. Like I think that's one of the biggest things that happens when you get in the business and you get involved with it, especially I can't believe at that level. But I would think that I was fairly involved for several years at WCW, to the point where I was in creative meetings, and that's that extra layer of stress and workload, and you just fall into that wrestling bubble. You know, you
And when
really
you
don't.
finally step off and you feel what real life
Yeah,
feels like.
and I mean, it's like, whoa, fuck. You know, it's you know what to me like when you're in that wrestling bubble, it's like being in that Fox News bubble. It's that same thing where you're just everything is coming at you from this one source, and then when you step off and you go, oh fuck, really?
And then you multiply because you're on the treadmill as a performer, right? So you're on camera and you've got to handle all your own shit, matches, your character, your promos, all that stuff. Now you're in creative capacity. So in addition to that, you're responsible for the show or parts of the show, which means you're also responsible for other talent who are coming to you with questions, requests, whatever. Now go to that next level where you're Paul and you've got production that you've got to handle too. Then there's like was he responsible corporate wise for anything, like any decisions they were making about branding of the company or what networks they were talking to?
I mean, I know that was kind of Steph's thing. Steph was more involved in the branding, but I think that so many times they did those things together. Uh, the whole setup for WrestleMania, the design and everything else is like all that. I mean, it's everything is run through creative,
Right. Which was Paul.
So yeah.
Yeah. I can't imagine that many layers of the job. Not
I can't either.
putting me in the hospital. Well, I mean, he was in the hospital. Just the stress level and who fucking.
And and the thing is, he has no vices.
Right.
Which is probably a godsend.
Well, I was going to say you couldn't if you were compromising your mind in any way. Fucking do that 6 nights a week. Good God.
It's 7. There's never a day
off. Yeah, sure. Yeah, amazing. But so I wonder though that the timing, right? So one goes, okay. So flashback, Vince leaves, retires was the word. Paul takes over all of creative, and everything I saw, even like the cheat writers, which are they force themselves to be critical, right? So, and maybe go counter to what the popular opinion might be. Everybody that I read was supportive of everything Triple H was doing. They were putting over the product at that time, that it was getting better. The talking about the direction of the company and some talent that were underused, not used correctly, would now be given that shot. Everything was optimistic. Flowers were blooming again in the fields.
Oh, yeah.
And then somehow, through an unlocked door, Vince returns and has his hand all over the TV shows from early on. If what we read is true, I'm not there. But based on what we read, Vince's hand is all over the shows. And now it would probably make sense if I were Paul and I get all this together and I'm marching the troops in one direction and people are being diverted, messing up what I did. I wouldn't want to fucking sit there either, be second guessed, have my shit changed at the last fucking minute if this is in fact what's happening. Especially talk about the life you talked about before, finally going up, sitting on vacation for a little while and going, you know what? I don't have to fucking deal with this anymore. I would say take me off the fucking board. Don't even put me on. Don't even ask me.
Yeah, I mean,
That's just me.
To me, if head of creative gets paid the same as head of creative plus being on the board, I'll take head of creative.
I'll take one job instead of two.
Yeah,
for the same
I don't
salary.
need another line on my business card.
But seeing as the board is responsible for the direction of any company, someone who's the head of creative, this is a creative industry. We're not making tampons.
Right.
Should have a say in the direction of the entire vessel, one would think.
Not when the board is not just in charge of WWE.
But WWE is going to be half of their product now, probably from a revenue standpoint.
I know, but I'm just saying, not every spot is a WWE spot. So you've got other people that are taking board spots that are Endeavor people.
Mm-hmm.
So why would you? Because that's what they do. Those people are. That's what their job is with Endeavor is to be a part of it. So why would you add something onto the hardest job, which is creative? Why would you add another fucking layer if you don't have to?
I don't know. I'd want some say in where the vehicle.
I just don't see fucking Paul selling it. It's like it's just. I'm sure that I haven't pried into it because it's none of my fucking business.
What about Vince and him? Do you know them to always have had a good working relationship? Of course, they did father-in-law and all that, but working relationship.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, they've always. When you see them together, it feels very unforced. It feels like they, So,
well, you were with Vince first for the early run, then the 2002. You came back, and over that arc of time, had Vince's style or his manner, the way he ran things, did it change over time, or was Vince in 2002 the same Vince you knew in 1994?
Same. It was always. I just think one of the things with Vince is that he's such a perfectionist that, if he was getting a 9.9 every week, he'd want the 10. Like he's just that.
That's fine.
Yeah.
And you
So
have to
it's
be that if you're a captain of your industry.
right. And I mean,
You're Vince
there's
McMahon and Elon Musk.
when I met Vince McMahon, he was probably worth, I don't know, 50, $70 million.
Pennies. Yeah. And
25 million. I don't know. I mean, but he's
so when did they go public? What year was that?
after I left, maybe
97?
97.
Oh, 99 I'm getting over.
99?
All right,
Yeah.
someone will look it up. So you weren't there for the transition to 99. Okay. So you weren't there for the 99 you would have been in WCW for the transition.
Or sitting on my couch.
Correct. Okay, Linus Knight is our first question. He says, "Hey yo, if LA Knight was in the business in 1994, would he be cliquish?" Cliquish, I guess, meaning worthy of being in the clique.
I don't know the dude. Like I said,
It comes down to personality, right? It's mostly
yeah. You're talking about 320 days on the road, fucking. I mean, and none of this bullshit. I mean, it's 250 a night minimum driving. It's people. You got to be able to tolerate their shit 24/7.
Okay.
So
no way to really know.
No.
At this point. Mark Millam. Mick Foley tells the story of the rib you pulled on him when he thought he was meeting Hulk Hogan, but ended up meeting Lou Ferrigno, who played the Hulk. Wonderful story. Any memories of this or similar ribs? What was the setup for this? Where were you when you told him he was meeting the Hulk? Is it news to you?
No, I mean, I remember it. I just don't remember the specific. I'm always fucking around.
Whether it's withholding a tip from a wait staff or putting $1 in its place or introducing Mick Foley to Lou Ferrigno instead of Hogan. But what was a rib that you were a part of or subjected to that you would give props to as well executed? Not a nasty one like, some of these fucking guys.
I think I always think the psychological rib, like Scott would always do this one, and you could get a lot of guys with it, but Scott would always do it. He'd talk to you for like 25, 30 minutes on the phone and then go, "Oh, fuck, did you hear what Vince said?" And then fucking hang up the phone. And then you'd be like, "Did we get cut off?" And then he would never pick up the phone. And it was just like, wow.
Excellent. That's great. Kev, I got a little concerned this week when I saw on Twitter for like 5 seconds that Paul and Stephanie I saw one report that said they were separated. I saw one tweet for some wrestling website I hadn't heard of that said they were already divorced, and no reputable. I mean, it wasn't like Meltzer carrying this or anything. But
so my phone blew up at because I guess it must have came out around 3 or 4 o'clock.
Yeah,
So my phone blows up, and I'm thinking, oh God, who died?
right.
So I put my phone, and it's a lot of it's just, people, but then they've got where they've just forwarded you the wrestling news, whatever. So I'm opening it up. I'm like, the first time you see one, you're like, and I haven't talked to Paul in a week. So I'm thinking like, well, I don't know. I'm pretty sure if they were, if the divorce was going to be filed, it might have been something we talked about.
Like the LA Knight contract.
Exactly. I guess that was more important. I mean, at that point, but Um, so I text Paul. I said, "You okay? Everything all right? I'm here if you need anything." And he says, what's happening in my life?" I said, social media says that you're splitting with Stephanie. You guys are getting a divorce." And he responds to me, "Well, fuck, I wish somebody would have told me that before I got dragged to this JV football game and my girl's fucking cheerleading hat." Like, yeah, it's like, I just love to find out about what's going on in my life, through the internet. He says it's like, and I'm sure that probably that would upset me because like he finally probably has like a day off, where he's just it's family time and it's just like, no man, it's like some trolls gotta fuck with you on your off day.
Yeah, he's going to see his daughter in the game, cheering in the game. Steph probably that morning said, "You going to go into that shithole today, or you're going to come to the game, Paul?" And yeah, and then you got to deal with life in the public eye, right? I mean, it's what are you going to do? The thing that was weird though was that I'm going to call them news sites, but there's a whole gradient in that term, news, right? But that there's no attempt to verify a story before you carry it. That's like
No,
101.
that was always, it's been like that since I was a kid. Your front page news when you're being accused, and you're on page 25 when they fucking rescind the charges.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I've had that my whole life,
Yeah.
Remember when I was in Calgary years ago and I was doing a shot for Teddy Hart, and some guy just fucking hauled off and punched me right in the fucking face, like right in the jaw. Didn't hurt me, but I mean just enough where my mouth bled a little bit because my teeth tore into my and
This is in the ring or over the
no,
guardrail?
this is at a bar.
A bar.
I'm sitting drinking fucking a bottle of wine, and I'm sitting at the bar by myself, and the guy he had some girls with him. They came over. It was like after the Magic Mike, the first one, and they were like, "Are you wearing?" Yeah. I took a picture with him. I guess he just fucking. I didn't look back over at him. I didn't make any. The guy got pissed off and he just came over and just sucker punched me. He wasn't a small guy, but he wasn't. He was one of those guys where if I'd have got up and annihilated him, it would have cost me probably $150,000.
Right, and he knows that.
Yeah, they all do. So it's just like you just have to I've learned, man. You just stay in your house, stay in your room. That's one thing that
It's
I
not
miss.
fair either. That's
But
not,
it's
not part of it. Shouldn't be part of the
But
deal.
see, I wore my shirt today. My boy on it. It's the Scott Hall tribute shirt.
Nice.
And I wore it because it's just like I miss that so much. That every time I was on the road doing something, every weekend, that I always had my we had each other's backs.
Yeah.
I always knew, man, if I was dead, if they found my body dead someplace, that they were going to find Scott's right next to it, and vice versa. And that's, of all the things that I miss about not having my friend, besides laughing like a motherfucker, but just knowing that somebody truly has your back.
Yeah.
So I'm going through the the different wrestling things, and how we talked about Paul's divorce thing. But they put it in their own jargon where it's like Paul's like when I said it, I meant it as Paul is pissed off that they would fucking how dare they think I'm fucking my life's falling apart. I'm at my fucking girl's Not like, oh fuck, I've been dragged to this my daughter's like.
Oh, you think that was
That's how I took it when I read it back. It was like, it was almost like they were because they can't just let you can't just let the man have his fucking life. So you got to get one more fucking. You got to poke him one more fucking time. Like, oh well, yeah, he was forced. Wasn't forced to go anywhere.
no? I think that's just bad reporting. It didn't sound that way at all.
It's very bad reporting. Just like, man, I know how much he loves his girls. It's just like that's fucking bullshit.
Yeah, look at these sources. What is that? Pink Villa? What the
Uh,
hell is that?
Look at the
Am I
fucking.
supposed to know this?
Look at the. Look at the pictures they use in May. You couldn't find anything.
That was last week.
From '96.
Yeah. So it was carried. I didn't even realize it was carried in the.
Oh fuck yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's going to happen no matter what, right? Everything gets twisted. When you're in the public eye, you're subject to interpretation all over the place. Tyler Blair. Kev, any thoughts on HBK saying he'd welcome the chance to work with Punk in NXT?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Nothing.
No thoughts.
God bless him.
Anyone else have a quick? Sometimes no answer is the answer, as you know. Heading eight. Has Kev or Sean seen anything on the upcoming The Claw movie about the Von Erichs? MJF is in it, as is Zac Efron, and the guy from The Bear, Jeremy Allen White. I don't know anything about this. Interesting, though. I'll look into it. Hope it's being handled tastefully. Not a fun story, the Von Erich story. What else we got here? Anyone? Heading out again. So the story that's being carried is that now Vince McMahon is stepping back and allowing it'd have to be Paul. It'd have to be Triple H to run the show again.
Oh,
now,
don't let Bischoff see that on our show.
What? Why?
Dave Meltzer.
Oh, the Meltzer quote. Yeah, well, but here's the thing. Talks of the merger. Vince, it's been his ship. He's 70, what is he, 77? 78, right? But it's been his ship. He was like Jason, up on steroid charges, the sex scandals, nothing could take him down. And he plowed ahead, and they're the only game in town. So Vince steering the ship is stability for Wall Street. Not everybody that invests knows the business. They know business, but not the business.
Yeah, they know Vince.
They know Vince. And it's his company, the family business, and he's back. He's back. That makes Wall Street pretty sweet, right?
Well, when people see that Instagram thing where he says in whatever it was that he bought the company for $1 million, sold it for $9 billion. That's like, wow. Would you put that guy in charge of anything? I might.
Right.
But you know what? I equate it to this. The time period would be when Red Auerbach stepped down from Boston.
Mm-hmm.
So Red realizes that he's going to step back and he's going to let Russell coach. You still got, it's not like Red Auerbach. You can't look at Red and go, hey, Red, what do you think about this? Hey, Red, what do you think about, you still have Red Auerbach. He ain't going no place.
Like Michael Corleone said, who is a better consigliere than my father when the Don was still alive?
Right. And that's the thing. It's like you can't have I don't. I just can't imagine that when Ari bought the company, that he was buying it with the vision of having a 77-year-old head of creative
But
when he could have a 54-year-old head of creative.
was very aware.
But knowing that he was, yes,
Right.
knowing that he still had fucking Hoyt Wilhelm, that at 60 years old could still throw 7 innings of knuckleballs. But
The second reference day. Who was the one in the pre-show? The ABA player that you pulled out.
I asked about Dolph Shays.
Dolph Shays.
Dolph Shays autograph. He was the commissioner of the ABA
Oh my
for
God.
a year or two. I had a ABA. I had a horrible rotation, and I was given a real, this is the ABA was alive and kicking when I was a kid, and I missed the ABA draft by like 2 years. Like I would have came out of college and got drafted by an ABA team.
Was it that late? What, 77?
75.
75. Okay. Yeah. So, all right. So everything's a work, right? So Vince coming back. I just remember the furor of, oh, Vince was out only choice. Now Vince is back. Triple H must be upset that Vince is back. But this was probably a tacit agreement, right? Vince come back, face of the company, face of the legacy that WWE is. Just be patient, son. Let's let all this go through.
Anybody that
let
watched
the dust settle.
Watched when he was when Paul was first anointed and given creative, the product was just amazing. I mean, within 4 weeks, it was clear. Here's a perfect example.
Mm-hmm.
I read a quote, and it was a WWE. It was either on Instagram. It was either Paul's personal Instagram, but I believe it was the WWE's Instagram, and they were talking about the departure of Edge, and it said that and Paul said, Adam and I sat down. They both had come to the kind of the agreement where Edge had done what he could, and he might be happier someplace else because they were going to be using probably younger talent, and Paul shook his hand and wished him the best of luck, like no hard feelings, and thanked him for the 18, 20 years, whatever he gave him. And basically then turned around. He says, now I get to go in that locker room and go, Edge's spot's open. Which one of you guys wants to step up and get it? That's the difference. Like, whoa, like I'm not, because, for so long, people would sit around there and wait for Vince to anoint them. I'll sit here, and sooner or later I'll get the sword tapped on each side of my shoulder. No, man, the sword's in the stone. You better be the one that can pick that motherfucker through it.
We're right. Whereas Paul's mentality is, what are you going to do?
Yeah, what are you going to do
to go get your spot?
Come get the spot. Earn the spot.
Hmm.
I'll give you the opportunity. Just earn it.
Right. Very good.